Hi, I'm Liam Moynihan. You might know me from some videos such as Dudes of Hazzard, but today we're here in Bike Park Wales on a fine Monday morning to give you some tips and tricks for riding at bike parks and trail centres. One thing that's worth considering for bike parks and trail centres is the diversity. So some spots have got easy to lap trails, uplift maybe, chairlifts, or here where they've got the trailer and van system. So it's quick to lap, easy to do a run down back to the cafe and bike shop where if you've got a problem or you need your sandwiches. Other spots though, it might be a 50-kilometre loop out through the hills. So if that's the case, you want to be prepared with your sandwiches, maybe a tube on your bike and a CO2 like I've got, and Allen keys and water. It's worth keeping in mind that when you're riding a new spot, especially at a bike park or trail centre, it's probably worth giving each trail more than one lap. Not only for safety and to look before you leap, but also because it becomes a lot more enjoyable. Generally a track, once you know it, you're going to enjoy it the second time round a lot more. You'll be able to go faster and hit the features with more confidence. In a similar vein, if you're going to a place for the first time, it's worth starting out on the blues and reds before working your way up to blacks. There's a good chance that the blacks that you're maybe familiar with at home may be graded a little bit differently from in a bike park or trail centre, where they may be more difficult, they might have some sketchy or dangerous features, so always worth bearing that in mind. A personal favourite tip is to consider what tyres you're running when you go to a bike park or trail centre. The speeds are likely to be higher and with more square edges and sharp obstacles than you might find at your local woods. So I personally like to run downhill tyres. It adds a bit more stability and comfort to the riding and generally also keeps you safe from punctures, which can spoil a day if you get a puncture and then end up writing off a wheel. So sturdy tyres, bit more grip, bit more safety, bit more comfort. It's always worth considering bringing both your full face helmet and open face helmet to a trail centre or bike park. There might be big massive 50-kilometre loops that you're obviously going to want your open face helmet for, but on the same token, for example here, there's the uplift service, or if there's a chairlift, you're going to want a full face helmet where you're not needing to pedal and you're just worrying solely about the downhill. I've got my Met parachute with me, which means I've got both my open face and full face both in one, meaning I can stay away from the car park all day, and whatever the day brings, I know I'm sorted for both. A personal favourite for myself is to keep an eye out for the sneaky little off-piste trails, which quite often exist at bike parks and trail centres. Not all bike parks have them, not all bike parks want them, but there's often little gems to be found, and going into the local bike shop is often a good place to start for finding these. I do want to emphasise though that it's always worth checking with the landowners or park operators whether or not it's okay to ride any off-piste trails. You don't want to spoil it for anyone else by riding trails that really aren't allowed and end up getting somewhere good shut down, so keep that in mind as well. The UK is absolutely full of trail centres. There's some really good ones to be found all over, and throughout the rest of Europe and the world there's bike parks all over the place. They're generally amazing, they've got something for every ability. You don't need a fancy bike, you don't need fancy kit, so just get out there and ride them. It's worth keeping in mind that if you're at a trail centre or a bike park at the weekend, it's pretty likely to be busy, so try not to be a dick. Don't be cutting in Strava lines. The trails are generally built the way they are and designed for a reason, and they all ride really, really well. Be patient with slower riders. You're not at the mega avalanche, you're just out enjoying yourself, out in the woods, having a good time, and so is everyone else. Thanks again to Bike Park Wales for having us here today. The trails have been amazing and the weather's actually been good as well.